Hello and welcome to another edition of the Eternal Journey. I'm the Resolves and this is FJP Cradle. What we've got here is basically a Fire Justice Primal deck that is going to be trying to win with a slightly offbeat win condition here, as we will be using the Calderan Cradle, with perhaps a little bit of help from Chandler Tempest to get the job done. This is basically a Hooru deck just splashing for the Cradle and the Torch, and maybe even this Caleb's choice. But I think it's going to be in a reasonable position because it is again just a Hailstorm harsh roll deck, so that's going to be quite good for you on the ladder. And at that point, when you've got those cards in your deck, it doesn't really matter what nonsense you're trying to win the game with. But because we've got the Cradle, we've got a couple of concessions to it. As this means we want to be quite cantrip heavy with spells like Trailblaze and Strategize, just so that we can keep triggering these multiple times in a game. And if you don't have a Calderan Cradle in play, these have got the added bonus of allowing you to be able to try and find it for all this card selection. Okay, so let's get on to those games. Okay, and here on the play with a powerful hand, but I think that's got to be a redraw. And this should be good enough. We've got all of our influence sorted because we do only need the single fire. So we're against Fel, so maybe these channels will do something. I suppose we can seek power next turn. Sabotage would be pretty bad for us. But I managed to get away with it here. So I'm not entirely certain how the Fel matchup will go for us. More Trailblaze is probably fine. Just set it with Primal so that we can get the Aegis off the Waystones. Okay, well, Trailblaze for me. Levitate's not really it. Trying to just find the Cradle at this point. I do have a lot of looks. So, Vanquish is probably good later on, as it will kill something. So I'm just going to bottom actual Fire Sigil because we're not going to need that. I'm not super concerned about a Rain of Frogs, so I won't play the Aegis quite yet. Sigil we can get out here. I'll just grab a Justice Sigil here. Okay, well, we are channel flooded. Well, as soon as we get to 8, I suppose we'll be going hand for card draw. Well, this was perhaps a reason to keep Levitate, just because of the champion equipping board. Let's just nip this in the bud while we can. We're in the unenviable position where we're quite protected from the Bloodcaster ultimate here as well, with the double Aegis backup we've got. Well, I don't really like throwing out the Aegis if we don't really need it, but we do also just need to get to 8 because of all these cards in hand we've got. Yeah, well, we'll just kill this for now. We're in a nice position now where it's able to levitate to kill this.
Touch of shadow.
Now if we draw a power, we get to levitate and then channel it, which is even nicer. So levitate. And as we've got a second copy of Harshwell, I'm sort of fine with. Oh, I don't just want to get gifted. I think we can allow our opponent to. I mean, we could have killed the gift with Caleb's choice anyway. Yeah, so that was a mistake. We should have just killed this because if we did get gifted, we could kill it with Caleb's choice anyway. But at least for now, just get to get a little bit of value off these Harshwells. Our opponent has drawn a few too many cards with this Jump Feast Caller. I think let's just bottom the Hailstorm because I do like all of this. And now we can hopefully just land the Cradle and we can start trying to turn the tide in the game. I suppose we'll just bottom the sea. Just use out the Crest. Now, Torch is fine just because it just pop an Aegis for the Harshwell. I know it's sort of gross to just 2-4 on yourself all the time against these Aegis units. At least we're getting a little bit of additional value just because of the Calderan Cradle ticking away here. And I think we're really in the driver's seat now. So we'll sort of keep an eye on where your ticks are. So we're currently at 3. So this will give us a dragon. I do tend to prefer making these like as an ambush unit basically. But I didn't want to go without a face Aegis here. I just got all the shields are just completely up now. Now we get to do a cool thing here where our opponent's Black Sky Hamager no longer has lifesteal. Yeah, that's fine. I really want to save this Caleb's choice just to protect us from just something like a gift. Oh well, let's channel them up. And we're at 3, so quite simply just discard this power. Well, if our opponent just doesn't play a gift, then we can also use the Caleb's choice just to free this from its Permafrost, and we'll perhaps even do that if our opponent's Champion of Cunning decides to get in and tussle. We're just 1 away. So I think it is worth just touching up on its face. If they don't block it, I believe we can just kill them with the channel. I think this might be worth countering. Yeah, this will be worth countering. Because it's forced our opponent to block now. Well, they didn't block, so I suppose we should kill them with the channel Tempest. So you can see there pretty much that the Cradle is really powerful, but we do need a way to be able to tutor up for it. Okay, well, here we are on the draw, and it doesn't have a Cradle, but it does have double Harshwell, so that's a pretty good way of being able to catch up. Well, it is overall quite an expensive hand. So I think, yeah, well, I should just redraw this. As if we did just miss our power, there would have been in a lot of trouble. This sounds pretty much the same, but it's also got a Hailstorm, so we can use those a little bit earlier. And now Praxis players are playing cards like the Heroic Raider, the Hailstorm isn't dead. Like his Praxis, I probably do want a Harsh Rule.
It's written right here.
And if this is tokens, then I feel like we're in pretty good shape. But for now, I'm just going to keep cresting it up. And I suppose I do want to seek power. Just to find us the second Justice source.
This will do the trick.
And I think this will be enough just to prompt me to Hailstorm here. Good to take out one of our opponent's power sources. And if our opponent's got less power, because this looks like it could just be the tokens deck that's splashing for Stand Together. Rats. I waited for the Cradle this turn, just didn't realise that it had undepleted power, so I suppose we'll grab the Justice now. But anyway, taking out an opponent's power source when they're a deck that is trying to get you with Stand Together is pretty good, because it's going to mean it's a little bit harder for them to actually hold it up. And right now I'm happy just to take 3 points of damage. If my opponent just doesn't make anything too big for Lightning Storm, then we're pretty happy there as well. Well, probably just to trade 1-for-1 with this Trailmaker. This opponent sort of trying to hold something up, then that's fine too. Six powers potentially worth just ruling away, but I think we're going to take 6 here. That could very well have been a mistake, so our opponent does now have, well, I'm supposed to take a 9 instead. Let's just Levitate one just to get our card right here. If our opponent held Stand Together there, then it'd definitely been a mistake for us, but I think right now we're in okay shape. Just need to grind through another couple of token producers. And then we should be able to start just challenging our opponent. I rode at 8 power, so we don't really need the 9th one. We'll rule here though.
This will do the trick.
Okay, well, we do have a Cradle that will go to 5. Don't want to use the Child right now. Just going to 1-for-1 ourselves. Okay, so now we've got a Dragon. So I feel pretty safe against what our opponent's up to. And I think we're past the point of Hailstorm being super great just because our opponent does have the 2 obelisks. But I think I will still keep the Hailstorm just because if our opponent is just making ground-ins, then we should be okay. Also means we get to keep our Dragon.
Which would you like?
Okay, well, we're just at 1 on this. But I think we'll just channel here.
Unleash the storm.
Happy just to sit back for a turn. Perhaps the challenge should have been going face.
Step back.
But I don't mind actually playing one of these dragons. They really are a little bit overcosted. Let's rule it down. So we're now going to be at 3 ticks of the Cradle. And I was going to try and find another Cradle, just so we can try and end the game a little bit quicker. Okay, so we're going to be giving our opponent a little bit too much time here. Now, they've given up for whatever reason. I suppose it's the cards in hand, but it wasn't actually over yet. I think our opponent was in a reasonable position there. Okay, well, I'm not a big fan of this hand, so let's just redraw this one up. Well, this is a lot better against a bunch of the field here. I think we'll just be chewing up the Primal sauce. I've been trying Hailstorm right now because it's good even against stuff like Cobalt. Okay, so also against Hooru or something along those lines. So I'm not sure which kind of Hooru this is yet. Okay, so opens up to being quite a couple of different decks here. Channel or I don't think I want the Eilyn's choice right here. Could be like Chalice or something like this. Or maybe even Temporal. But this could very well just like, if this is like a unitless matchup, be pretty rough for us. Alright, just take the fire. Want to keep some of the primal sources in the deck just so that our allies' favours still do a little bit of something. This looks like a typical sort of Drago matchup. And I think if we had a Cradle in place, that'd be a lot more of a favourite for us. Although this matchup means we need to worry about disjunction. And I don't think we need like Hailstorm. It's probably better for us than the Torch actually is. Although Levitate is unlikely to do anything unless we've already got a dragon. But at the moment we can't currently get one. As a lot of our spells are quite reactive, perhaps that's going to be a problem with this deck. Right, now I'm happy we got the House Choice, should be able to protect ourselves. But don't need the Harsh Rule. Well, Harsh Rule can just like take up both of our cradles by one. I'm probably going to ditch one of these. Oh, it's got a billion power, so I think I'll actually keep these Levitates because they will eventually do something. Right, so we're at 2 now, so with 3 touches we could actually just bolt our opponent in the face for a bunch and then start turning these Levitates into actual cards. We're going to need to find an answer for Sword of the Sky King though, which should be popping up soon. I think now's a turn where we can perhaps pull the trigger here. I just need the one more here just to get 10 power. I'm gonna keep the Allen's Favour in hand for now. We're going to trade here for an Allen's Choice, which is pretty much what I expected. And we're at 2 and 3, so
Make my allies your enemies.
don't quite need to get any further up, but I think I will. Allen's Favour now, because this protects us from a reasonable amount, especially like any disjunctions. But we also get to Levitate end of turn if we need to make another dragon. And if anything big happens like a Harsh Rule, then I'm going to happily just Eilyn's Choice that. Well, I will Eilyn's Choice this, because I can't be getting anything that's good for us. It's probably just going to be getting the Temporal Distortion. We'll wait in terms of ticks, so we can get one more dragon at the end of our opponent's turn. But I'll be saving the Levitate for now. And Hash Wheel here is fine. I don't really respond to that because we need to find like exactly Caleb's choice just to counter it. But now I get to touch our opponent, make a dragon, and then start getting in there. Oh, there we go, lethal. Just how we drew up. Somehow managed to win what I felt like was going to be an unwinnable matchup. I can see the power behind like instant speed with conditions that you don't really need to put too many resources into because it's basically just following along the game plan of your deck anyway. Okay, well we're on the draw, we've got a Calderan Cradle, and if we're against a beatdown matchup we've got 2 touches that we can play. But this is admittedly on the greedy side because you really need to hit like a third power that realistically needs to be a primal source. So I wouldn't suggest keeping this sort of hand 100%. Okay, so we didn't hit the power straight away. But we're against potentially hopefully a Skycrow deck with a couple of torches here. Let's see what they're made of. Okay, so this could be Primal carry then if we've got Seek Power in a Skycrow deck. Could very well just be finding a Justice source, and here we go. Well, that's nice and lucky because that sets us up for the Wisdom of the Elders next turn, as well as giving us a Face Aegis to be able to protect us from any Rune Coral Yetis that want to gobble up our Calderan Cradles. Okay, well we've got 2 of them now. So I feel like as long as we hit the 4th power, then we're just going to be in great shape because we're going to get 2 of these out in the early game against a deck that's not quite pressuring us right away.
I'll find the truth of my bloodline.
Well, that counter was pretty gross for us, but we managed to just peel it off the top anyway. Our opponent's emojis mirror ours a little bit, where all of ours are shadow. So slam this cradle down. Happy just to take 4 for a turn. If there's a weapon in our future, that's sort of fine because we've got ways of dealing with it just with a bunch of torches and those cantrips that we can use just to be able to pop out some dragons. Because dragons don't actually have ambush then, they don't have the ability to jump in front of a weapon. But if our opponent does something like attack with the front one first, then we can perhaps trigger one out. But each time we do cast our 5th spell, we're making 10 power in the air, which is quite a lot. I don't need a lightning storm here. I don't think we need an additional Hash Wheel here. But if this next turn is our opponent's a carrier turn, then we'll just be torching and Hash Wheeling. And it looks like it's not that. Could very well be a die show. I want to strategize here. I probably don't want like the additional torch there. Right now we're at 3, so we can just like surprise, make 10 power. But I'd rather just get our opponent good with those dragons. I think now might be the turn that we're actually going to get them. Just because we're getting reasonably low here. We're only at 13. There we go. Surprise. Okay, just make sure we kill it dead. Just overblocking is mostly fine in this position. And now if our opponent plays like a harsh wheel, we're able to protect ourselves from it. Now, this is still fine here. So I'm going to go for it here, where I'm just going to fire for the channel. We do have to be a little bit concerned about the Eilyn's choices. And that's exactly what this looks like.
You don't want to make my allies your enemies.
But we do also get like 2 ticks up. Right now it looks like we've got not enough proactive stuff, so a torch would have been nicer, but now it's obviously too late. So I suppose we need to channel here. It's just going to be a few exactly 5 just to kill the hammer.
Unleash the storm.
But we are at 2 points, so we're a little while away from being able to actually make any dragons. That's actually fine. That was pretty bad for us, but if our opponent attacks with this, then we should be able to make some dragons. Actually, we can't. Whoops. Completely miscounted. So give them the old GG's, let them know they got it.
You don't want to make my allies your enemies.
Okay, well, this hand will be sweet as soon as we're able to find a fire source, so I'm going to keep this for the last game. Let's message off Hufflepuff there, just saying that I completely miscounted the amount of dragons I actually had. Well, fortunately we've got a second Calderan Cradle, so we could be a little bit more insulated against any discard from our opponent, but as this is Xena, it is very possible that their removal is just going to be like virus choices, which are not going to do anything against us, which is a pretty nice spot to be in. Well, this could be a problem. This is just Trailblaze into Trailblaze. Let's try and get these Calderan Cradles down as soon as possible. So as we also do need to be a little bit concerned about Banish if our opponent's playing that in the deck, because Banish can kill Calderan Cradle, sadly. The bring down is probably not going to be super excellent, but if our opponent starts doing nonsense like bringing this and Dawnwalker back, then we should be able to do a little bit of something with that. I suppose power's fine here, so we'll give the power. So we do realistically need some sort of card draw here. We can't kill anything up to a 5 because we have the Lightning Storm and the Hailstorm. I suppose I really want to draw. Well, I'm going to crest it up first. Don't want that piece of power. Play the Cradle, and then next turn I'll probably just have to Caleb's Choice, the Xehan's Obelisk, and Hailstorm. Well, if our opponent makes another big threat, then we could be in a lot of trouble.
My favorite part.
Wow, they get to draw a bunch of cards here. Yeah, certainly a little bit gross. Well, they've got the 200 Sauropod now, so they're definitely going to be able to grind us out here. But we are at 2 ticks each, so as long as we're able to find something that pairs with these spells to be able to actually do something. I wouldn't mind a Levitate coming just so that we can turn this bring down into something a little bit more real.
Time quickens.
Well, we're going to have to sort of fire this off now. Which isn't ideal, but I also don't harsh rule and kill our dragons. We do need some proactive card draw here. And that's a pretty good choice there just to get the Auric Interrogator. Personally, I think I would have got the Twin Brood Sauropod, but I think they probably don't have time for that. But let's see what we draw here. So we've got Eilyn's Favour.
Winds protect me.
So this gets us up to the 8th power if we draw like a channel, as well as putting us on 4 ticks for each. So if our opponent attacks with the Auric Interrogator, then I will just chuck away this bring down just to silence it and make some dargons. We do have to double block now though.
This'll do the trick.
Okay, well, probably want to silence this rather than silencing the Trailmaker. I don't think our opponent can annihilate these because they don't have a faction identity. But we do really need to find some amount of card draw here just so we're able to keep ticking along. But this trade's fine for us. I was thinking about maybe I should have actually silenced the Trailmaker, because if they do have Dark Return, they've already got another Interrogator in the bottom anyway. But Crest Fury is not it. We do need just proactive plays. Oh, Shadowless Tyrant. Nice. Well, we don't have a... I don't have any bring downs left, so there's no reason to wait on this. But that's a pretty spicy inclusion. Yeah, just check out Lightning Storm because we're pretty much dead here. And Lightning Storm won't do anything else for the rest of the game. Fortunately, our Aegis blocks the first ping here. But we do need to desperately just find a harsh roll. And Al's choice is just a little bit too late here, as we're one short of the Cradle being able to try and stabilise us. So give me the old GGs and move on to the deck tech. Get us some style points.
You don't want to make my allies your enemies.
Yeah, Shadowless Tyrant was actually really impressive there. I was playing at the event this weekend and actually quite liked it there. Though for the most part I find it a little bit too slow, like in comparison to the other diesel units, especially our opponent can play Warbearer Behemoth. Okay, so onto that deck tech. Okay, so those are the games with Cradle. I can see the deck's pretty sweet. When you're just playing like a Hooru control shell, like it doesn't really matter what you win with, be it like Nostrix and Porter or just Child of Tempest and some Sword of the Sky Kings. But I do really enjoy Calderan Cradle. I think for the most part what this deck needs is just a tutor. And of course we can play like Celestial Omen to be able to pick it up, but for that, also at that point it feels a little bit too late, as you do want to get the Cradle down before you're just like chucking out all this card draw and just selection and sort of interactive spells. And maybe for the most part we aren't actually proactive enough to get the most use out of it, because you can see some instances like we're against a little bit more of a controlling deck that you're just like a handful of harsh rolls, you don't want to just like chuck out a harsh roll just to tick up by one. But overall I think the deck's sweet, and it's nice that we can bring some new life into some of these old cards like the Calderan Cradle, which hasn't really seen much play for quite some time. Okay, so thanks for watching. I've been That Resolves, and this was Calderan Cradle.